Hey, good morning, Algebra Readiness kids. We are doing the review 10.1 to 10.3 today. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the problems that we're going to do. This is all stuff that we've done before, just a real quick overview of how to do it. Now, on 1 through 10, you got your grid set up there. On the worksheet, if you need to make another piece of paper to do it with, that's fine with me. Just take picture of your answers and put them down. Make sure you label them by the letter. And so basically all you got to do, put the points on that graph. I'm not going to go through that. You should know that by now. First letter is left and right, that's the x-axis. The second letter is y, that's the up and down axis. Let's move on to number 11 and review how to do those. So 11 through 16, we're going to do these. Let's do number 11 together, okay? So you've got negative 2x plus y equals 6. And then off to the side, after the semicolon, you have negative 3, 1. These are pretty simple. All you got to do is take your ordered pair over here. The first number is the x, the second number is the y, and then you substitute it in. And then you tell me whether or not that ordered pair works for this solution. So it's a true, false, yes, no kind of thing. Right or wrong, well, I don't care what, as long as you got one or the other, okay? I'll let you know. So all you have to do for each one of these is then come in through here like this and say, okay, negative 2 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 6, and then plus 1 equals 6. In this situation, on number 11, we'd say no, that doesn't work. That's why I put the slash through there. And so on my answer, the answer would be no. Because when I substitute in this ordered pair into my equation, that doesn't work. All right? So you got 5 more problems that are like that. Practice substituting in the number, then solving the equation and see if the answer works. If it doesn't, it's no. If it does, it's yes. Okay? That easy. All right, let's move on to the next section. That would be 17 through 22. Okay, on all of these are pretty simple too. Basically, all they're saying is, okay, if we give you only 1, if we give you x, tell us what y equals. Let's do one of those. Let's do number 18, okay? Because that one's a little bit of a tricky one. Negative x plus 3y equals 2. And then the semicolon, and they're saying x is going to equal 7 on this. So I take 7 and plug it in. So I have negative 7 plus 3y equals 2. So this is basically like that algebra stuff that we were doing where we were solving for a variable. In this case, we're always going to be solving for y. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to isolate the variable and then get us down to only one variable. Remember my steps, right? I still got them right here. Combine like terms, isolate the letter. That means you're adding or subtracting away the numbers next to the letter, and then only one by doing multiply, divide, or a reciprocal if you had to. Okay, that's if you had a fraction. I don't think we have any fractional problems here, so you aren't going to have a problem. You're either going to add or multiply or divide on that second step. So the first step, so to get rid of the negative 7, I have to do the opposite operation, which is add 7 to both sides. Okay, this cancels. My 3y comes down, and then 2 plus 7 is 9. My final step is then to do the opposite of what that operation is, which is divide. 3 next to a letter is multiply, so the opposite of multiply is divide. When we divide, we get y equals 3. Okay, that's how you do those kinds of problems, all right? So basically, make sure you're substituting in. Now, it could have been real tricky if x was negative 7 here. You'd have to do the opposite of negative 7, which would have been a positive 7. Hopefully, I haven't given you a problem like that. That would make it too hard. It doesn't look like I have. So you should be okay with that. We did probably the toughest one with the negative sign in front right there. Okay, moving to the back side. All right, the first page should be relatively simple. Okay, you should be able to roll right through those. The back side, not so much. Okay, you're going to have to think about some things here. On 23, plug in the points. Tell me what that, or make the shape, and then give me the perimeter, the distance around, and the area. Remember, perimeter, we're adding all the sides, and then area, we're multiplying the length times the width. Okay, there's your area formula, length times width. Perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. 2L plus 2W. That's how you do perimeter. Okay, so map out that and then count the boxes. That tells you what the perimeter is, what each side is, how long it is. Okay, the top and the bottom will have the same length, and the sides will both have the same length on that one. So then let's talk about how we graph an equation by using the t-chart. Okay, move down to problem number 25. 3x plus y equals 3. Okay, so in order to do these, first of all, we need to get y all by itself over here. Okay, so we subtract the amount of x over here to the other side, because that was a positive 3x. It was negative 3x, then we would have added, but it was positive, we subtracted. That canceled, y equals, and then like I always do, I put my x in front and then put this behind. Now I have it in my my slope form so that I can figure out what y is and then go on from there. Okay, so now I make my t-chart. Remember what I said, if it's not a fraction, the easy ones to use are 0, 1, and negative 1. Okay, so we give our first x points, 0, 1, and 8. So if x is 0, remember this, solve that. Negative 3 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. So in this situation, y equals positive 3. So my first pair is 0, 3. Now substitute in 1. Negative 3 times 1 gives me negative 3. A negative 3 plus a positive 3 gives me 0. So my next ordered pair is 1, 0. Last one, put in the negative 1. That becomes a positive 3 now, because a negative 3 times a negative 1 gives me a positive 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So there, I've made my t-chart. Now I have to graph that and put the line through. Okay, I'm going to erase this part here so I can put my graph down real quick. Once again, my highest y value is going to be a positive 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My x values are going to be plus 1 and negative 1 on either side there. So when x is 0, y is 1. I go up 1. When x is 1, y is 0. It's right there. When x is negative 1, oh, sorry. My first one should have been 3, not 1. When x is 0, y is 3. 1, 2, 3. There, that makes more sense. I started to notice that I wasn't going to have a straight line. So I had to recheck and make sure. And that's one thing you can do if you're looking at it and you're like, oh, my line is like kind of crooked. It should be right along the dots, all right? The dots shouldn't have a huge bend in it. You did something wrong when you did your ordered pairs. So that's what I did. I looked at it and go, this one's here, but my next point is going to be way up there. That can't be right. So I had to recheck my first point. The last one is negative 1 and all the way up to 6. Now I've got a very decent line that goes right there, diagonally. So that one would be number 25. Okay? That's how we graph that one. Now, let's do the one of the last problems there. Let's do at least 2 more problems. Turn to the next page. We're going to do more of the same here. Okay? Let's talk about part 3. Let's look at number 28. Okay? This is what we call a Y-intercept problem. Y equals negative 4. These are easy. You don't have to do a t-chart. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you do is put your grid down and say, okay, y equals negative 4. So we'll go where negative 4 is. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. If y is -4, we can have any x that we want. So we make a line going through -4. That's how you do that, okay? So y's going to have a horizontal line, okay? Horizontal line, side to side. X, if x equals something, it will have a vertical line, right? Going up and down, straight up and down. Okay? There we go. So, y is horizontal. If x equals a number, it's vertical. So number 29, x equals 5. So that should be easy. There should be a vertical line going in there. Easy to do. Let's do one more of those. Let's do that last one, which is kind of tricky. It's got, we'll do number 30. 5x minus 2y equals 10. Okay, once again, we're going to move our x away from the y first by subtracting 5x to both sides. That cancels. I got to bring the negative sign down with the 2, just because it's in front there. And then I'm going to move my 5x in front, my plus 10 behind. Now, here's what we do. We got to get rid of the -2 in front of the y. So I've got to divide by -2 to make y positive. If I do that, I've got to divide by -2 on both of these terms. Okay? Changes a few things. I got 2 negatives here, which makes this a positive 5 over 2x. And I tell you, leave it improper. Okay? Don't make it into a mixed number. It'll make it much harder for you. Leave it improper. It'll be easier when we do our t-chart. The next thing, you take 10 and divide it by -2, and you end up with -5. Okay, once we have y positive, you got your x here, and you got your other number there. Let's do our t-chart. Okay, when I talk about t-charts with this, remember I say you can always use 0. That's an easy one to do. But when we have a fraction, we want to use a number that's divisible by the number underneath. So like 2 is divisible by 2, so we want to use 2. And I typically go up and use 4 as the next one. This would make this kind of a larger grid if we did that. Okay, we'll see it in a moment. All right, and so if x is 0, okay, so if I substitute in that, 5 over 2 times x still gives me 2, still gives me 0, and 0 minus 5 ends up giving me y equaling -5. So the first one, if x is 0, y is -5. Okay, so now let's substitute in 2. All right, when you do this, now you take this number times the top number, or you can cancel out 2 and 2 there, and then what do you got left? 5. Okay, so if x is 2, then y in that situation is going to be 0. All right, the last one. Okay, it may not be as bad as I thought it was going to be. Make x 4. If x is 4, 2 divided by 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then take 2 times 5, which is 10. And then so y is going to equal 5 after we subtract 5 from 10. There's our ordered pairs. 0, -5, 2, 0, 4, and 5. Let's put it on a grid. Okay, my biggest y's are going to be -5 and +5. So I got to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I got to go down 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. My biggest x is a +4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, if x is 0, y is -5, all the way down to my bottom of my grid. If x is 2, 1, 2, y is 0 right there. If x is 4, y is the +5. And there we've created our diagonal line. Okay? Hope that helps. Watch out for number 27. It already has a fraction on x. So once again, you're going to have to do similar to what I did here. And since it's got a 2 at the bottom, I use the numbers 0, 2, and 4 for my x values on my t-chart. Good luck on that, okay? I'll give you today and tomorrow. We're going to scoot back tomorrow's lesson into Thursday. I already had Thursday as a catch-up day anyway, so take 2 days to get this done, today and tomorrow. If you got questions, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Please show up for the Zoom meeting tomorrow, and I can help answer any questions. And if you do, if everybody shows up, we can work some of these problems out so that way we can get the answers right, okay? So make sure you show up for that. We'll do that tomorrow. Okay, talk to you later.